Well, hello, my badass friends. My name is Cece, and this is my badass life. Do you like my new t-shirt? I couldn't resist it. I found it on TeePublic. Not my design, but she's so cute. Little poop wire. I love it. Anyway, and I don't know if those of you have seen the new peace, love, and happy pooping design. And a gift from a friend. Love your buns. So what are we talking about today? It's a good question because there is a whole freaking lot going on in the world right now. And quite frankly, I'm trying to ignore some of it because empath, HSP, like a human sponge and pincushion sometimes during times like this. So yeah, there's a whole lot going on out there. And quite frankly, I have a lot to say about it, but I'm biting my tongue a little bit. So anyway, what are we talking about today? Let's talk about how to stay spiritually centered during times of incredible turmoil. So there's an author, guru, whatever you want to call her, that I really love. She's now on the other side in the spirit world. Her name is Louise, and she has a couple of really powerful books as well as some powerful philosophies that I really love. And I originally got her You Can Heal Your Body book ages ago because it's full of affirmations, and anybody who knows me knows that I love affirmations. I am like the affirmation girl. Like, this is an entire book of like affirmations. Like, some days I just wake up and I just sit down and I just write my affirmations for the day, things that I need to remind myself of during the day. And I really believe that affirmations are something huge and they work for us. And recently, Louise we're reading a new book of hers called You Can Heal Your Life. And I am really excited about this one because while every single thing in it doesn't apply, there is a lot of it that does apply. And I'm just turning off my do not disturb so you don't hear all of the blings and booms. Anyway, she had some fabulous affirmations, and she's got some interesting philosophies. And again, not everybody has to agree with all of her philosophies. I'm starting to learn that when it comes to my own brand of spiritualism, that I have to really take what I like and leave the rest in some cases. So, there are some people that I believe in almost everything that they have to say, and there are other people that they have some good things to say, and I don't necessarily agree with other things. And you know what? That's okay. That's what we should be doing. We should be, looking deep inside of ourselves, examining our own souls, our own spirit, our own higher self, and really trying to figure out, what applies to me here. So what applied to me yesterday in reading You Can Heal Your Life with Louise Hay was she talked about releasing well, first of all, she talked about being willing to change. And she has this affirmation, and you're supposed to stand in front of the mirror and you're supposed to say, I am willing to change. Because sometimes we don't even know where we need to change or what we need to change or where we need to change. But what she talks about is the fact that when you say that, the universe kind of takes it and runs with it. So I am willing to change, and change comes from the throat chakra. So she talks about touching the throat chakra when you say this. So I am willing to change. I am willing to change, right? And then she took this a step further yesterday, and here's what really got me. She started talking about releasing, right? And I'm a firm believer in releasing. I'm often saying affirmations like, I release the need to control this thing or whatever. Or I release XYZ. But she talks about releasing the need for something. So there was a lot to unpack there for me. And what I realized is that it's super powerful to release the need for something, because sometimes if we really look closely at the life lessons that we are here to learn, and of course, my opinion is that, we choose the life that we enter into, and we choose everything from our parents to what happens to us. I know it's crazy, right? Because in my head, I'm like, why that? Would I choose cancer? But apparently somewhere along the way in the ether, I did before I came into this body and began having my experience, my human experience. I believe that, I chose this path for a reason, because there were lessons that I was trying to learn. And so in doing so, I am realizing now that there are things that I have to release to move forward as a part of my unfoldment, as a part of my evolution, as it were. And while I don't know that I am you know, on the path to enlightenment. I mean, I am on the path to enlightenment. I think we all are in some way or another. But while I am not necessarily like, trying to be like Buddha, right? I do think that there is a part of unfoldment where we have to just keep peeling those layers away, like the onion, right? You've got to keep peeling the layers of the onion. And part of peeling the layers of the onion is to realize that there are things that are holding us back because we need them. It's almost like on some level, sometimes we need certain dysfunctions in order to be able to keep the status quo. And yet it's those same needs for the dysfunctions that are screwing us up and keeping us from unfolding, from evolving. So I really did some soul searching yesterday, and I was thinking about, what do I need to release? What do I need to release the need for? So I'll just give you one example. So I, like many people, have the, desire to be accepted, liked, understood, appreciated, you name it. There's a laundry list there, right? But not so much to the degree that I seek other people's approval, because I'm over that, but more because of the need to be understood, and to have people understand where I'm coming from, as a cancer survivor, as a lesbian, as a person, as a human, as a woman, as a I don't know, like a whole bunch of things, right? I have always had this need to be heard and understood. So my affirmation for today, one of them out of the many, was I release the need to be understood. And that's a hard one. And it's funny because Louise talks about how oftentimes we don't want to, we almost resist these affirmations. The ones that are tough, the ones that are going to be challenging for us, we resist a little bit because we know that it's going to require us to change, right? And it gets a little uncomfortable. And I was telling Doc, Amy, last night that I love affirmations. Like, they don't make me uncomfortable. I'm not resistant. And then all of a sudden today, I realized that I release the need to be understood, made me a little uncomfortable because, I do want to be understood. I want to be understood. And especially, I'm going to go back to what's happening in the world right now, especially right now, especially as a woman, especially as a cancer survivor, especially as an LGBTQ person, I do have a need to be understood. And I recognize that until you walk in the shoes of diversity in any way, shape, or form, walk in the shoes of diversity or disability or anything, it's very challenging for anybody to understand where you're truly coming from and what is truly inside you and how it affects you. And it's also difficult to expect just anybody to have compassion and understanding for a situation that they really can't relate to. And so I guess my step today is to say, I release the need to be understood. I release the need to be understood. Hope that perpetuates. And as Louise says, the universe will now take care of the rest. And I also release the need to care what other people think. So take, for example, this video, right? There are trolls. There will be people who will probably have something to say that isn't necessarily positive about this perspective or this video. And again, I always do these things from my perspective, from my experience. I never expect you to look at me as I'm telling you what to do. Totally not. This is always your choice, right? This is always your decision to say, hey, this tool might work for me, or this tool doesn't work for me, or I can relate to this, or I can't relate to this, or whatever. But it's also the difference between saying, all right, I don't really like that, so I'm just going to keep scrolling, or I'm going to make some ugly comment to that. So, and really, that's not so much what bothers me. Although I will admit, sometimes the troll comments do, jab at me just a little. But for the most part, it's more the people in my life that I love and that I care about who, can't possibly understand what it's like to go through a cancer experience, nor would I want them to. I don't want anybody to have to live through that. who can't understand what it's like to be a lesbian woman living in the year 2024 when things have gone significantly backwards. Again, if you haven't been there, you can't understand that. So I release the need to care what other people think about what I have to say about these things. And yet, I will say that that in itself is so powerful, right? And I release the need to be understood. And so if you get me, that's awesome. And if you don't, that's okay too. And I'm at peace with that. And part of my whole thing about never having to go through cancer treatment again is to make sure that I maintain my inner peace. And so some of that includes not doom scrolling right now. Some of that includes not letting too much of the negative get into my head, too much of the fear, the concern, the worry. By the way, I also release the need to worry because I'm super good at that. I need to release the need to worry. I release the need to worry. Anyway, you get where I'm coming from. I love y'all. I hope this helps somebody. Have a wonderful day, beautiful day. Love each other and try to understand somebody today, even if they don't need you to.